So, who has one of these? Raise your hand if you have one. Absolutely. 80% of adults in the UK now have a smartphone, and they're a very integral part of our everyday lives. I bet every single one of you have had a panic when you've left the house and realised you've left it at home. But technology and communication has infiltrated so much of our lives now, including our language. If you want to know something, we Google it. If you want to find out how to do something, we YouTube it. And we have apps for absolutely everything. How we entertain ourselves, how we educate ourselves, how we purchase is all down to this. As consumers, we are hungry for information. And social media has proved that we're hungry for connection as well as convenience. But what it's doing is it's changing the way that we can do business as well. So let's take a look at that. I love a post-it note, don't you? The biggest thing that has changed is that if you want to go into business now, technology has allowed anyone to do this. The barrier to entry to business is really low. All you need is an idea, a solution to a problem, a laptop and a phone, and away you go. So what this has done is it's opened up entrepreneurial opportunities for all sorts of people. Now, 52% of businesses registered in the UK are now home-based businesses. And they're not just the young that are doing it. People in midlife and beyond, the unemployed, people who haven't been able to get a job, are now realising they could just start their own business. Parents and carers who need to be really flexible with time can start their own business. We're able to systemise and automate very cheaply, which means we can run our businesses very efficiently and reach further audiences. With social media, we're able to make better connections and deeper connections and build followings. We're now able to work on a global scale. We don't have to rely on business locally anymore. The e-learning market is huge. And by that, I mean membership sites providing education, bringing people together, online courses, downloads, anything that can educate someone. So if you have something to share, if you have something to teach someone, you can get involved in this market. Now, there are figures that say that in 2016, the e-learning market, the global market, was worth $165 billion. Pretty good, huh? And it's predicted that by 2025, it's going to be worth $325 billion. That's only 7 years away. You do the maths. There's money there to be had, my friends. What I want to do now is show you an example of somebody who is very much embracing these new ways of doing business. Meet Zoe Sugg, better known as her channel Zoella. If any of you have daughters, you will know who this lady is. She started off in her bedroom making videos in 2009 at the tender age of 19. Her vlog is all about life and beauty and fashion. But she's not a fashion designer. She's not a makeup artist. She's just an ordinary girl with a passion for these things. She started making videos and building a bit of a following. She built a following because she was ordinary. And the girls that were watching her felt like she was a friend. They felt connected to her. They liked the same things that she liked. Zoe's channel now has 12 million subscribers. And some of her videos have had over 22 million views. This is big. But what Zoe has been able to do, I'd like to meet her. What Zoe's been able to do is translate that following into a huge business. She is one individual. Zoella, in 2014, wrote her first book, and she broke records. She sold 78,000 copies in 1 week. Now, to put that into perspective, that's faster and more than 50 Shades of Grey and Harry Potter. It's not to be sniffed at. If you go into Superdrug, she has a beauty range in there. If you go into WH Smith's, she's got a book club with her friends, and she helps WH Smith sell a lot of books. She is a very good businesswoman. So the next time one of your children says that they'd like to start a YouTube channel, you might want to take them seriously. So she was able to take that following that knew, liked, and trusted her, and give them more. They wanted more from her, and she was able to take that offline and do that. Now, we don't all have to run off and start a YouTube channel, although you can. It's free. You can just go and start broadcasting to the world. But what this has done, the connectivity that we have now, is it's also enabled people in business, sole traders, to actually expand as well. You don't have to rely on getting your clients from your locality. You can now get clients from anywhere in the world, and you're able to speak to them face to face. So if you're a consultant or a coach, for example, you can now be choosing the clients that you work with and be really specific about it, because you've got a global pool of clients to choose from. So we have the world at our fingertips as consumers, but as businesses, we have the world in our hands as well. So quite frankly, if you've got an entrepreneurial spirit in you, you've never had it so good. Now, you guys are a tech-savvy audience here, so a lot of what I've said isn't new to you. You know about it. But there's a difference between knowing and doing. So why aren't more people doing this? Why aren't more small businesses or large businesses embracing the new technologies that we have? Well, it's pretty simple. Fear. Now, this works for large corporations as well, because when companies decide to become more visible, then even large corporations are guilty of showing fear. They don't want to be in social media necessarily because they're worried about disgruntled clients. They're worried about getting bad reviews. And it's the same for individuals. But with individuals, we tend to worry that if we raise our visibility and go for that global market, what will our peers think? What will other people think of us? Who are you to be doing this and broadcasting? Now, fear can come in many ways. It can come through denial. You can be saying things like, but my business is great. I don't need to start all this newfangled stuff and be hitting a global market. Try telling that to Blockbusters. There's procrastination. Now, procrastination, I'm quite a big fan of. I'm sure you are. Sometimes we decide something is a very good idea and we'd do it tomorrow, right? Toys R Us, pretty good example of this. After they fell out with Amazon, it took them forever, and they never got themselves together with their online side of the business. And as consumers, I'm pretty sure all of you have bought toys online, right? So they missed it because they just didn't do anything about it, or not enough. And then there's ego. And ego is the one that affects all of us. It's where we make ourselves central to that fear. We make it about us. I don't want to go on camera. I don't like my hair. I hate my voice. I hear that one a lot. But we do need to be moving with the times, whoever you are. We only have to look at where we've come from in the last 20 years with technology to only imagine where we might be in the next 5 or even 10 years. Future-proofing your business is important. This technology is not going away. I have a little experience of this myself. 3 years ago, I had a business. It was brilliant. I loved it. It was a photography business. And I was the central part of that business. I got ill. And what happened was, when you took me out of the business, there was no business. So with the online technologies that we have now, everybody can be generating some kind of passive income from their service or the product that they sell. So it's a good reason to future-proof your business. If you have passive income coming in, you're able to have a little bit more flexibility. Doing what others won't is the way to win in business. It's the difference between knowing and actually doing something about it. And I personally learned quite a few lessons when that happened to me. So you need to think about this. You need to think about how you can future-proof your business and how you can reap the benefits of these technologies. Now, I've devised a little formula, my WIN formula. And it's basically 3 ways of how you can get over yourself and go ahead and do these things. W, why. Make your why bigger than your fear. Now, is anybody a parent in here? Okay. You're going to love this example because I guarantee that every single one of you has had this scenario at some point. In the summer just gone, I found my family and I were on a boat off the coast of Tenerife. It was lovely. We'd just been watching dolphins. It was fabulous. And they dropped anchor and gave us the opportunity that we could swim in the water. There were 3 ways of getting into the water. You could climb down the ladder, humiliating. You could jump in, fairly cool, or you could dive in. Now, my son, I should say my daughter, just went to the back of the boat and dove in. It was about 4 feet difference. My son saw her do this, so he wanted to do the same. However, he felt the fear. So, like all good mums, I was there saying, come on, Jack, you can do this. You're going to feel awesome when you've done it. And then he said those words that every parent dreads. I tell you what, Mum, if you do it, I'll do it. And now fear. Oh my gosh, the fear kicked in for me. And what went through my head was, oh no, what if I belly flop and make a fool out of myself? What if my costume comes off? You get the scenario. But my why, my reason to dive off the back of that boat was bigger than my fear, because what I couldn't have was my son saying, hang on, you're encouraging me to do it, but you're not prepared to do it yourself. So I'm pleased to say I dived off the back of the boat and he went into, and we had a good time and all was well. But the lesson there is you can all take that. You've all had examples where you've overcome a fear. And what you need to do is just make that reason why bigger than your fear, and you'll be able to achieve anything that you want to in business. I is for impact. Now this is where our ego comes into it, because one of the things that got me to TED here today is impact. If I let myself worry about the fears that I had of standing up on stage and talking to you all today, I made my why bigger. I want to be able to inspire people to get into the online world and future-proof their businesses. So what I did was I'm thinking about the people that I may have an impact on today, or when they're watching it. So when you turn everything around and start to make it about your customers, your future customers, it's very empowering. So think about the people that you can help with your project, with your product or your service. Put them first and do it for them. And N is for now. No more procrastination, no more excuses. Do it now. Make it a priority in your life and you will reap the benefits. Thank you.